let's talk about render and why just buying 150 render can potentially make you rich in the upcoming bull run that so many of us guys are waiting out for and anticipating. So, looking at render, currently sitting at the $3.50 mark, and at today's price, guys, 150 render is going to set you back around about $536. I think that this amount of money is quite a bit, but it's still something that's very doable and achievable for a lot of people with some hard work and some consistency by averaging in over the next few months. I think that a lot of people can get to 150 render. So we need to firstly talk about render and why it can perform well. But before that, I just need to quickly mention there's a quick disclaimer. Please read this with care. This video is not financial advice. Crypto is volatile and highly risky. No results are guaranteed. This content is for experienced users only, and there's a full legal disclaimer in the description below. So, with render, what is it and why can it do well? Well, render essentially has a lot of AI and 3D demand. So, it renders GPU and rendering for AI, gaming, and 3D content. And these industries at the moment are absolutely going bonkers. We've seen the fact that GPUs have got so expensive now, and there's so much demand for it that render has got a real world use case here, and it taps into this demand by offering the decentralized GPU compute at scale. And it also connects a lot of people who need graphics for computing, like 3D artists and AI developers. And as well as this, we're seeing filmmakers, game devs, and a lot of AI builders using render as a way to work with their business. And I did also want to mention with render, it has migrated onto the Solana network from the Ethereum, I believe, and this is going to make it a lot smoother, a lot faster, operate a lot better. And I think that this is a real positive here, guys, because there's a lot of adoption here for Solana. I think this is really, really good to see, and I think it's in general just going to make the network a lot faster. And when it comes to this, let's talk about some of the partnerships for render. And the first one I talk about is Apple. So Apple currently works with render. Is absolutely crazy. This is due to the fact that they're optimizing rendering performance across Apple's hardware, software system. I'm not going to go into all of this, but this is the first one. Massive company, everyone knows Apple. This is really, really positive to see, and for me, another green tick. So when it comes to the next one, render is also poised to integrate with NVIDIA. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen NVIDIA. It's the largest company in the world by market cap, and this is an unbelievable, absolutely crazy partnership for a crypto coin to have. We've seen, like I mentioned before, the biggest coin by market cap. This company absolutely prints, and at the same time, we've also seen the fact that render can go absolutely mental in the space of a few months just with some price action, because of the fact, it's a little side note, that render is a slightly newer coin when compared to Ethereum and a lot of these other coins. It went from $1.60 to $13, an 8x in a matter of months. So this coin, although the price action currently is not looking amazing, it does have this upper potential that not every coin does. So I just wanted to mention that point. So another amazing partnership here, guys, is Hollywood Studios for VR and AR projects, 3D content design. Like, render seems to be taking over the world at the moment. So again, for me, another green tick. Don't want to go into too much detail on that, but I just wanted to illustrate that. So like I mentioned just before, despite the current action, guys, there's still a lot to be bullish on. And like almost every time in crypto, when you have strong conviction in your coins, it helps you to see out the investment. And render can move and go absolutely crazy, in my opinion. So you might be like, well, that's cute, Turkey, but I'm like, where can render actually go? So I want to make some money, which I understand. Let's get into that. So the peak market cap that we saw for render earlier was 5.4 billion, which by no means is a large market cap, but at the same time, it's not a tiny one. And when we look at where it is at the moment, it's sitting at 1.8 billion, so that's even lower. It's so much smaller than a lot of coins, but it's currently ranked at that 50 mark, the 50th biggest coin in the whole crypto industry. And this is very important when it comes down to price action, because as you guys may or may not know, I've got a definition here of market cap to help you understand. It's the total value of a cryptocurrency found by multiplying its current price by the number of coins in circulation, and it helps to show the size and importance of a cryptocurrency in the space. I think that's a bit of jargon, but in my opinion, it's just the total amount of money that a project is worth in the market. So, like I mentioned, very, very small. a lot of room to grow and a lot of potential. So I've got to compare it to some other coins, right? Because it won't make any sense if I just say, oh, 1.8 billion is small and you don't know what the other coins are like. So when we look at Solana last run, it went from around about the 93 million to 71 billion mark. And I'm not saying that Render is going to replicate anything nearly as well as this, but what I did want to say is that I think a $30 to $50 mark is a safer range for Render, and I do think that is achievable. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I do think that it can happen. So when looking at this, guys, if we got 150 coins and we sold at the $30 mark, that would be $4,500. We scale this up to $40, that's going to be $6,000, and then at the $50 mark, that's going to be $7,500. And at an original buy-in price of 536, I think this is exceptionally good when compared to traditional investments. So next thing, and I want to talk about this, and this is really, really beautiful, and not many other people talk about this, is the fact that we can supercharge these profits. So if we understand how crypto cycles work, and I'll very, very quickly explain that to you, and what's happened in every previous cycle is that Bitcoin has initially gone first, and when Bitcoin goes first, a lot of investors start to take profits and then funnel that money down into Ethereum. And that's why over the last month we've seen Ethereum pretty much smash through or get very, very close to its previous all-time high. And this is all because of how the cycles work. So people take money, take their profits from Bitcoin, follow that into Ethereum, then it then gets funneled into large caps, the ADAs, the Solanas, all these big coins, and then after that we start to see it go into the smaller coins and the meme coins. So what we can do, guys, is use this and leverage this to actually make some money. But again, this isn't necessarily what you should do, but that's just what you can do if you've spotted any other coins that you think can perform really well and they haven't gone, and Render has essentially rocketed before these other ones. So I want to lastly just show you a visual example of how you actually, in my opinion, a good way to sell. So say this was the peak of the run, you'd sell 20% as you go up at this point, get your initial investment out here, another 20% out, another 20, another 20. So at this point you've got 80% of your bag out, you've made all your money back, you've got all of your initial investment back, and you can leave the last 20% to run. And the beautiful part is it doesn't matter, we don't have to try and time the top. This last 20% out is essentially free money, and this one can make you the most amount out of any of all the other ones. So this, in my opinion, is the way to maximize as much profit as possible and reduce as much risk as possible. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Hopefully this provided you with some value, and have a great day.